in the car and recording. Hopefully you can hear me okay. So, lots of little things have been happening lately. Nothing too outstanding or amazing, but just little things that I picked up on here and there. But like I was at the hardware store yesterday, and I bought some stuff the day before, and one of the products I realized was the wrong size. I got home and I tried to fit it and it was just wrong. So I went back to the hardware store the next day, and while I was there I was thinking, oh well, I'll return that product and get a new one. So I'm walking down the aisle and I'm having a look at all the different ones I can swap for, and I basically know what I'm going to get. But this the guy at the hardware store, he sort of waltzes into the aisle and he's like, right, how can I help you? What can I do for you? What do you need? All this sort of thing. Like, he's being like overly helpful and like overly friendly. And I'm like, oh yeah, like, you know, I got one of these yesterday, and then it fits into this. And he's like, oh, you mean that and that? I'm like, oh yeah, so I've got that and that, but I actually need the same thing, just smaller. And he's all right, so you go there, and he just whipped out the products, exactly what I needed. Like, I was taking my time and just having a look at everything, and he just bam into my hands, gave me exactly what I needed. And then he marched and he said, right, you happy, you all good, you know, you happy? And I'm like, yes, I'm all good, thanks. And he marched off, and he's like sort of muttered to himself, but quite loudly, as he was leaving. I could sort of hear him as he went around the corridor, and he's like, right, as long as you're happy, I'm happy. And you know, he was just so friendly and such a like nice guy. But just something about the way he said, if you're happy, I'm happy. And I don't know, just, you know, it's a common saying and typical sort of thing, but just something about it just kind of like I sensed it. It was almost like he said it quite loudly, but not to my face, like as he was walking away, and he was like in another aisle already, so it was like I could hear his thoughts almost, but it was like he was meant to say it and I was meant to hear it. And I just kind of thought, like, you know, maybe his whole purpose of doing that was just to make me happy. Like, maybe I don't know, I've been having a pretty good year. Like, some things have gone wrong, but I haven't really worried about the things that have gone wrong for me. But more stuff has gone right for me this year than what has gone wrong. And overall, I'd have to say, even on days where I don't feel happy, like, I don't feel unhappy either. Like, it's almost like the universe is just, for the lack of a better word, the universe as a presence, as a consciousness of itself, or some sort of consciousness that I'm not aware of. It's like, right, I'm gonna make you happy. You know, you've got to be happy. So I'm like, all right. His mission was, you know, he just interluded for like 30 seconds or a minute, and in and out, and just the way he said it just made me happy. And then I thought, yeah, you know, he was quite helpful. And if he wasn't there, if he didn't interject and do that, I would have been sitting there for 5 minutes going, oh, what about this, or what if I got that, or blah blah blah. Like, maybe I was just meant to get that product, just in and out. And you know, I like to be efficient. Sometimes I drag my feet and I just dather around, and I mean to go into the shop to just buy something, be in and out straight away, but I'll be sitting there looking at the shelves for 5-10 minutes before I eventually get what I want. And it was like really good that he helped me do that. He was just, bam, there you go, now you're on your way. So then I still wasted a lot of time that day, but you know, he helped me get myself back on track, I suppose. And maybe from a very 3D sense, maybe it's just coincidence, or maybe it's just, he just wanted to do that. But I got the sensation, very subtle sensation, that it was like he was like told or like made to do that, and he would have felt, of course, that it was his own brain thinking that and telling him to do that and telling him to say that. But maybe there are other forces at work that we're not aware of. I don't know. And then today, yeah, all sorts of funny little, like very subtle things just keep happening. Like I'll be around one specific person. It doesn't really happen around others, but this one specific person, and I'll be, we kind of like sort of know how each other thinks and how each other typically acts. And I'll just be in a certain situation at a place, and I'll be like, sort of like, I want to sort of like ask that person that I know quite well to just help me with something really small. I'm like, I don't actually say it, I just think it. I'm like, wouldn't it be great if that person just closed the door? But in my mind, I'm like, it's almost like I ask them in my mind, like, could you please close the door? But I say it in my mind as if I practice it in my mind as if I was about to say it, but I don't actually say it. It doesn't come out loud, but I just think it. And then like 2 seconds later, bam, the person closes the door. And, like coincidence, or maybe I'm just like, I know how that person acts, so I know that they probably would close the door anyway. But sometimes it's like quite helpful for me, because I just, I don't want to ask people too much, like for their help too much. Like I don't want to be too needy or whatever. I could just go close the door myself, but like that person's just standing there, like, and I'm over here, so like, if they're there, they might as well just close the door for me, and that would be helpful. So often lately I just find myself in a situation where I'm not saying something, but then it happens anyway. I'm like, awesome. Are you reading my mind? But then it's not just once. Like there was one day where it happened like 4 times in one day or something, and like maybe for the last week, for example, it's probably happened like 12 times or 15 times or something like that. Like it's just sometimes it just happens too often for it to be coincidental. You think, maybe there's something going on here. Maybe you are reading my mind. And it makes me think of a situation I was in at the beginning of the year, I think, around about end of January, start of February, and I was at a restaurant, and I was with family and some family friends, like relatives of relatives sort of thing. And this one particular person, I was sitting next to her, and someone asked a question, and she paused, and I just like immediately I heard her voice in my head of what she was going to say. Well, it wasn't exactly her voice, but I heard the words of what she was going to say, and it was only like 6 words, 5-6 words. It's only a short little thing, and it's like typical of what she would say. But she just paused, and I heard it, and I sort of knew she would say it, but then she kind of just like, she held back. It's almost like I could hear what she was thinking, and then she sort of held back as if she was like, should I say it or should I not say it? Then she said it, and it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. And then like a few seconds later, she looks at me like, and then I was like, don't look at me. But thinking back on it later, thinking back on it now, I've thought about it a few times since then, and I think like, was I reading her mind? And at the time it felt like she was thinking about whether she should say it or not and holding back. But looking back at it now, I think like, was I reading her mind? But then did she hear my did she hear her thoughts in my head through her head? Like, did she hear an echo of her own voice? Like, could she, like an X-Men, you know, the very first X-Men movie that popped up on TV the other day for me. I only watched the first 20 minutes or something. But the professor guy can read people's minds, but then the expert guy, who's like his opponents, who's like super strong, like the evil villain, he's like one of the strongest of all, but he's like sort of like friends, enemies with this guy, with the professor guy. But he knows when the professor guy is reading his mind. He can feel it, whereas other people don't really pick up on it. I'm almost like did that lady know? Did I read her mind just for that little few seconds? But did she feel and realize it and get a sense of what was going on? I don't know. I just had that thought. Yeah. Anyway, today I was at the shop and I was getting a gift for someone, and you know, I didn't know what I wanted to get for this person as a gift. And then maybe a week ago or so, you know, I sort of had the thought in the back of my mind, I need to think of a gift for this person. And then I went onto social media an hour later or whatever it was, and on social media someone's like, I just bought this product, it's fantastic, everyone's been talking about it, and I thought I'd give it a go. And normally I'm I don't care at all about that stuff, but at that time it was I was like, oh well, let me just, I have no idea what that product is, let me just click into it. And then he's sharing photos of stuff you know, it's a kitchen sort of thing, and he's sharing pictures of food he's cooked with it. And I'm like, oh, that's actually, you know, I could use that as a gift. So that came in helpful, that thing that he shared, which I would never normally pay attention to at all. So I go online, and there's different versions. There's the one he had, which there's heaps in stock everywhere, and then there's another version which does 3 different things. It's $10 extra, and I think, oh, that one looks pretty good, and it looks better. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll get that one, but it's only in stock in 2 stores. So I'm off to somewhere else today, and then on the way back I just pop into the store, and then I think, well, I'll just pick up that gift. I'm wandering through the store and I'm looking for something else, and I'll find that something else that I'm looking for, and then I turn around, and then bam, there's that whole category of products similar to what I'm searching for. So I'm looking for the specific product that I'm looking for that person as a gift, and I can't find it. And then I realize on the shelf there's a big hole, there's a space where it should be, so I can see that it looks like it's sold out. But I look online and it says it's in stock, and all the other products are out of stock or low stock. This one is in stock. It's they must have lots of them in stock. So I'm like, well, you guys have obviously got them in stock, but I can't see it. But then I'm looking online, and I'm do I really want to get this, or do I want to get the other one? I'm not sure. I can't make up my mind. Do I want the other version that my friend got that says fantastic, or do I want this one that looks better and I reckon's better, and it's 3-in-1 things? I wouldn't mind the 3-in-1 one, but it's it's all sold out, or it looks like it's sold out. I'm oh, I don't know. Then I'm toing and froing. I'm sitting there for 10 minutes trying to decide, and I can't decide. Then eventually I'm right, well, you know what, I'm just going to go to the counter, and then I'll go and find a person and see if they can find on one of their machines or one of their iPad things that they walk around with, see if they can find any in stock, go out the back and pull out one from the warehouse. And if there's not, then I won't worry. If there is, or whatever, I'll go see. So I go I go walking, and then before I find any one staff member walking around, then there's a counter in front of me. There's no one at the counter, so I don't have to wait in line. Just go straight up, ask the lady. Lady looks in the machine. She's like, oh yeah, they're in stock, but people are looking for them, but we can't find them. Someone was, we had this problem earlier today, but they're not on the shelf. We don't know what to do, but apparently they're in stock. Apparently we have 8 of them. So then she calls up the other lady, and then the other lady calls up the guy at the warehouse, and the lady at the warehouse at the back, and they're like, oh, blah, blah. And there's like, you know, is it a yes or is it a no? Like, you know, at this point it's very 50-50 in the story. Like, you know, like it could be a yes, and I could end up going home with this gift, with this product, or I could, you know, not go home with this product and maybe have to find some other gift. And, you know, maybe this gift is not the best. The reviews, some of the reviews are great, some of the reviews are not so great. I'm like, do I want it? Do I not want it? And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm very, very balanced in my mind at this point. I'm like, yes, I want it. No, I don't want it. Yes, and it's just like, it's like a perfect balance. I'm like, I can't decide. I'm 50-50 one way, the other way. Like, do I want this product or not? And while all this is happening, you know, these staff members can't figure out whether the product is in stock or not. So it's almost like the universe is undecided at this point. It's like quantum physics. It's like the what do you call it? The cat, the Schrodinger's cat. Is it alive or is it dead? It's both. It's like it's alive and it's dead, and it's not alive and it's not dead. It's in this quantum state of like, it doesn't exist. It could be in either state until we observe it, and that's exactly how it felt. Like I'm in my mind. I'm sitting there, and I've got this feeling, this sensation that I'm like, I've got to make up my mind now. and these people, they're on the phone to each other, and like they're talking, and the lady's like, I can't hear you, and then she's like, oh, I can hear you now, and she's like, you have it in stock? No, you don't have it in stock. And it's like it's like, you know, the people in the store, they just couldn't figure it out, you know, like, and then I'm like, all right, well, I better make up my mind then. And once I make up my mind, then it will come into fruition, like, you know, choose your own reality or whatever. That sort of, you know, like bending the universe to your will, or shaping the story, or, you know, writing your own story sort of thing. That's what it was for me. It's like, all right, well, screw it. I'm just going to buy this thing. I'm just going to get it, whatever. If it's not the best, that's okay. I choose it. It'll be fun. Like, that person will, you know, probably like it. And if not, well, you know, it's just a gift. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. I'm going to buy it. All right, I'm going to get it now. And I make up my mind. And then like 2 seconds later, they're like, oh, okay, all right. Well, if that's the case, then can you just bring that to the counter, please? And it's like the quantum states collapsed, and bam. All right, yes, they do have it. It's in stock. They found it. Now they're bringing it to the counter for you. Okay, just wait here, sir. And then like 60 seconds later, bam, there it is in front of me. The lady's giving it to me. She's like, oh, and I'm holding all these things in my hand and trying not to, like, you know, trying to balance everything in my hand, and then trying to catch this thing at the same time without dropping it to the floor. And it comes with marks and stuff on the box. It's not in perfect condition, but it's like, it's good enough. I'm like, all right, I'm happy now. That's fine. That's it. That's all I need. I'm good. I've chosen my reality. I've chosen my state of being for the day. And that's it. That's the end of the story. And I feel like, you know, some of you have been observing things this year with stories going a certain way, you know, in the media and the circus of life, the circus of news and everything. And certain people have been observing things like, you know, it feels like we're in two realities at the same time. And when I hear that, I just kind of think of like, you need to make a choice. Like you kind of are in two realities at the same time. It's like, which one do you choose? Which reality do you want to be in? And it's almost like, you know, you hear about YouTubers, you know, the big ones. They're like, oh, you know, we're going to better Earth and we're going to blah, 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 blah. But for me, it's more than just like making the choice of like, you know, which reality do you want to be in? It's almost, for me, it's more like it's not just that self-centered kind of like, I'm going to choose to be on the great side of reality where everything goes well and it's all fairy tales and daydreams. But for me, it's more of like a lesson. The lesson is like the more important part of that. And the lesson is like, the lesson for me is like that you can choose your reality, that you can choose a different path, and you don't need to be stuck. And that maybe we are in a position now that we are able to identify the different paths, identify maybe different states of being, and put ourselves and put others into parts, insert ourselves into parts of the story, as Osset would say, insert ourselves into whichever bits of reality that we want to be in. You know, maybe that's the greater lesson, is that we have this ability, and the whole sort of like everything on the news, you know, forcing us to kind of see two realities and then choose two realities is almost like it's like a lesson from the universe going, you need to wake up and go and realize that there are different choices and different realities, and you can pick one. So why don't you? You know, why don't we start putting ourselves in the place where we want to be, and we want others to be, or allowing others to go to those places if that's what they wish for and that's what they need, and if that's what lessons they need to learn. I'm going to stop now before I start getting tongue-tied, but hopefully that makes sense. So that's my thoughts for today. Have fun.